Hello Internet, welcome to part 2 of our DIY PRS guitar kit thing. It's been a couple of days since I glued the neck to the body and I'm pretty happy with it, how it's come out. It's got a bit of rake like it should do, so I think it's been, I really should have checked that properly before we glued and clamped, but we've managed to fluke it, I think, and it's okay. It's got, say, a bit of rake on it. I think the rule is no less than 2 degrees, no more than 3 degrees, but I'm not measuring now, I've got nothing to measure it with, but it looks alright, so I mean we'll find out with the final assembly. And yeah, it's gone okay. The pickup for the neck does fit with the gap, seem to have made sure, or made the measurements work, and it still remains to be seen whether we can get the appropriate scale length, obviously, but that will come later. For now, though, I have taped the neck side of the neck, the body side of the neck, this end of the neck, you can see it, off, because the next step is to do some grain filler before we move on to final sanding and some colour. So I've cheated and I've done some YouTubing and I've done some reading on the internet for what we need to do, and I kind of knew before we went into this that grain filling was going to be a thing, but we've got two different types of wood here, and the reason why I've taped off the butt of the neck there is because we only actually need, or I suppose want, but need to fill the body side of things, the mahogany side of things, and that is because mahogany and maple are different in terms of how porous they are and how open their pores are, and mahogany, you can see the difference between the two. The maple has a significantly smoother of a finish on it already compared to the mahogany body of the guitar. So if we don't grain fill it and we come to put some colour on it, it'll look nice, and then if we come to finish it, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad finish, but if you want it really smooth and like as close to glass or a mirror as you can get it by hand finishing with what we're going to do it with, then it would be really, really difficult to get it really smooth. It'd be a lot of work to get it really smooth if we don't grain fill. It just levels everything out and makes the finishing side of things easier. So that's what we're going to do. Now, I got some grain filler from the same place where I got the kit at the same time, and we're alluding, I suppose, to what kind of colours we're going to have on this guitar when it's done, and it's a black grain filler. And I went for a black rather than another brown or a clear. Yes, hello mate, hello. Just because I want some of it to pop out a little bit more. The pickups and all the hardware and everything like that is black as well, so black and the other colour is going to kind of be the theme for what's going on. Now, the internet tells me there's many ways to do this. There are many ways indeed to skin a cat. Not that I condone skinning or cats. Dogs are significantly improved upon cats, but some people say use an old credit card as like a spatula to apply it. I've seen loads of people brush it on. We might use a brush. I have an old brush here, but also the method that I like the idea of the most to avoid sanding later on, because I've had enough of sanding already, is to dilute this a bit, because it's kind of like a paste. It smells like off Play-Doh. To dilute it with some water, an old takeaway tray to do that with. Mix it all up and then use some rags. Old t-shirt material is the classic guitar finishing material of choice, isn't it? And get it on, and then use a damp cloth to wipe all the excess off. That's the method that I'm going to try, and we'll see how we go, just to avoid having loads and loads of sanding later on. So I suppose let's just dive in and give it a go, shall we? More coffee first though. Okay, so I wanted to do a bit of a talking head thing over this particular clip, because having now done it and have sore arms, I have some thoughts. I went into this with the best of intentions, and the overall idea was to save a bit of time later on by reducing the amount of sanding that I was going to have to do, and that was not the case. Firstly, the cloth and diluted filler method is probably fine if you've got quite a lot of experience doing it. I don't, and I think I just built up far too much in weird peaks and valleys, and it just wasn't an even application of the filler at all, so it didn't really do what I wanted to do. It got in the grain fine, and the end result is nice and smooth. You'll see that later on, but it just wasn't a particularly pretty way of doing it either. It was really messy. It got all over my hands and all over the guitar where I was handling it. It's water-based, so it's not toxic or anything like that, and it cleaned off the bits that I didn't want it to be on the guitar, no problem at all. In the end, I just used a brush, and it was way easier to be able to get a nice even coverage and it be a relatively consistent thickness throughout the application. And I think I just put way too much on as well. There's kind of like 2.5 coats, I guess, by the time that the brush had been on, and we'd done it a couple of times. But just use a brush, everyone. It's much easier. Okay, so it's the next day, and that was quite a faff. We've got a fully grain-filled and sanded, back up to 600 grits, back and sides. Do you know what? It was a lot of effort, but it was definitely worth it, because this feels really nice and smooth. That's really, really good. I just did one more pass of 600 over the top, lightly, just to make sure. And when I was doing the grain filling, I got it on the hands. I accidentally got it on the back of the neck in a couple of places, but it's a water-based grain filler, the one I've just used, so it's fine. It just rubs straight off with a damp cloth. And one of the things that it did to the body as well as the neck, just a damp cloth, because the grain filler was water-based, is that it did raise the grain ever so slightly. So I think that's actually helped in making for a bit more of a smoother finish, because I've had to sand down again basically, and now it's, as I say, really, really nice and smooth. Done the neck again as well, and that's even better than it was before. So we are at a point. Oh, and I'll just put some dye in the control cavity in the end of where the jack's going to be, and in the pickup cavities as well, because you'll never see them, but I know they're there. Well, you might see them when you come to change or mess around with any electronics. I might be foreshadowing some future work in there, who knows. So we should get some colour on it. Initially, we're going to go black across the whole top, and then we're going to sand it back with 800. I've just been out and got some 800 grit to get rid of some of it, so that we can hopefully get the figure in of this maple top to really, really pop through the colour that we're going to put on as well. I may do it on the headstock, but the body, back and neck and the headstock back and sides are going to be a slightly different shade of the colour that we're going to put on the top anyway. So I'm undecided on that yet. I think we might just go with the body. But let's get some black on it first, shall we? Alright, we've gloved up because the dye that we're using is alcohol based. So it being alcohol based means we won't have any grain raising issues, hopefully. It also means that it's going to really, really stay in my skin if I get it in there. So let's not pour this over the guitar. I suppose that's probably a bad idea, because it's pretty splashy. There we go. Now I haven't masked up the sides of the body, although I have done the neck, as you can probably see from there, because we're going to try and do a bit of a burst, and you'll see the whole thing's going to be black in one go, and then we're going to try and sand the middle bits off. So if I get a bit of dribble or bleed over the edge, that's not too much of a problem, because we may do the back and the sides. Well, we might do the sides a slightly different colour as well as what it's going to be on the back is going to be different to all of them. You might be able to see a bit of bleed through from when I did the inside with pickup rings. That's not going to be too much of a problem because obviously we're going over the whole thing in black now. And even if we weren't, I've tested and they are hidden by the pickup rings anyway, so it's not too much of a bother. So let's see how this goes. From the middle and working out apparently is the way to do this. Do you know what? It's making a really clean line. It's not going down the sides at all really, which is nice. It's a good job I taped up that neck. Work from the middle and out. Oh, look at that. Do you know what? I didn't expect it to start the grain to be as visible from this veneer on top in black. I thought it was all going to be pretty black, but it's pleasantly not. It's really cool. What a cool finish already. What a cool colour. Young emo me is telling me to just leave this as it is now and just play My Chemical Romance songs on it, but we won't do that because we do have some plans. Right, I'm going to get a bit more around the edges. I'll just see if we can be even blacker around the edges. As I say, we are doing an attempt at a bit of a burst, so we can make the edges a bit darker. That's going to help us a bit, I reckon. Look at that, as easy as that. So all I've done is just use a bit of old t-shirt, as the internet told me to do. That's a really cool finish already. I really, really like it already. Let's try and get a bit more in these middle bits here, I think. That kind of teardrop shape in the middle is kind of what we're going to be aiming for. And then with a dry bit of material, we'll try and pull any excess from the outside in. Let's see if that is going to try and do anything. It's not doing anything. It's already soaked straight into the wood. But that's okay. Amazing. It's exciting, isn't it? Do you want to see? What do you think? What do you think? Come on, what do you think? Up you get. What do you think? Is it good? Apparently Toby isn't that impressed with it. Okay. Now do you know what? Let's just get the excess of this cloth in the middle and try and even up the whole lot, I reckon. So we've got a tiny bit of bleed through on the back edge here. I'll not pick it up because I've got stain on my hands and show you, but just trust me. There's a bit of bleed through right on the edge here, but because we're going to go around and do the faux veneer, that's not a problem because that will come straight out. So the join is causing a bit of drama in the cap here. The cap, the top, the veneer, the nice bit, and it doesn't seem to want to be. I wonder if there's a bit of glue from the factory there maybe that's causing a bit of bother. Either way, I'm sure we'll get it when we put the next colour on. Okie dokie. We've got some 800 grit this time, and we're going to be quite careful, I think, so we're not going any kind of into the maple on top. We're just trying to get rid of some of the black and bring back some of the maple underneath. Yeah, just run it. All right. So you can still see the effect we're going for already. That's what you can see. I think a little more than that. All the black's more than highlight rather than a main feature. So yeah, this is the one. But again, it's an individual judgment, so we've got so we've got some weird vegetables not identical. Yeah, so yeah. Okay, so after a bit of sanding with the 800, this is where we're getting, where we've got to, I should say. That is as much as I'm going to do it. Quite a dark and prolific black burst. Is it a black burst? I don't know whether you'd call it a black burst or not, but that's as much as I'm going to do it. And we'll see, because we're pairing it with quite a dark colour, which you might have been able, the eagle-eyed viewers amongst you might be able to see, which is currently leaking its way through this paper cup, is a dark red, wine red in fact, as it says on the bottle. Wine red. So again, using some old t-shirt bits, folded into something that resembles a tool. Let's see what happens. I'm very excited, very excited. Again, working from the middle out. Oh. Well, it's very, it's not red, nor would I describe it as wine red, but it's nice. I guess going on to the slightly mapley colour, well, yes, obviously mapley colour, light goldeny colour of the maple has turned it almost like a bronze, I suppose. Copper, if you will. It's copper. That's what it is. It's turned copper. it's still really nice. I really like it. I'll give that a few moments to make its way in there properly, and then we will continue. If that's the colour that we can kind of judge the neck and the headstock to be, I'm not gonna. I was planning on mixing a bit of black into the wine red to make it like a really rich burgundy for the back and the sides and the neck, but I don't think I will. I think we will leave it as that. Right, let's get another coat on and see if it changes again. Oh yeah, it's copper. That's the coolest thing. That's actually fantastic. That's, as Bob Ross would say, a really happy accident. That's fantastic. Let's try and spread this excess around a bit. Ooh, look at that. So, the lesson that I've learnt is that I needed to take more black off because, let me just stand up so I can see over the top because the light's there. It's definitely not achieving the sort of burst that I thought I wanted and I thought I was going to get, but it's still really, really nice. And that's a really nice happy accident. I'm going to give it another go, another coat of red, and then we're probably going to leave it at that and move on to the sides and the back, and we'll see what colour the mahogany turns. Oh, I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. There we are. That's more of a red now to me. Nature made this. That's what's absolutely bonkers. Let me see if you guys can see. Wait, let's zoom out. No, that's in. Oh. Amazing. Okay, let's do some body, back of. So, clean bit of t-shirt. Okay, let's see how the mahogany looks with red in it. So, while that is gorgeous, as it happens, and I'm really pleased I picked a dark colour grain filler, because that's exactly what I was after, I don't think it's dark enough for me. Where the wood is different over here, that's the kind of darkness that I was looking for. So, I think what we'll do is give it another coat. I'll do the neck and the headstock first, but we'll do another coat, see if it darkens up, and if it doesn't, we'll try adding a drop of black into the red, because you can mix them. This particular brand anyway, you can. I don't know about others. And then we'll see if that brings out the outcome that I want. But the contrast of the black cavity in here is really, really good. I'm really enjoying this, and it's going to give an idea, because the hardware that we've got for this is also black, and I know obviously we've got a much darker top, but that'll be a nice contrast. Black and red always looks good in contrast, doesn't it? So, okay, let me spin this round and we will do the rest of it. Oh, just look at that top though. When that's glossy, that's going to be really cool. I suspect this is going to be quite a lot lighter because the maple is obviously naturally a lot more light. If you hear noises coming from down there, that's one of the dogs dreaming. They're not in pain, they just do that. Yeah, look how much. Well, I don't know, it's not heaps lighter, I suppose, is it? But it's definitely lighter. And we're going to need to use one of the paint brushes to get in the joint there, because it's not quite. I mean, look at the figure that. That's cool as shit, isn't it? That's fantastic. Yeah, the headstock's quite light, isn't it? Okay, this t-shirt is starting to disintegrate a little bit now, so we're going to have to do a swap to a new one. But I think what we might have to do here, because the headstock is significantly lighter than the body, headstock, body, for a bit of continuity across the front, we might have to do the front of the headstock a little darker. I think that's probably a good idea. But we'll see what another coat of red does. Do we need more? We need more. Okay, so this is where we've got to. So let me just try and get. I suppose that's almost a true representation of what it looks like in real life. What the camera's got there. This isn't what I wanted. I did want it to be a bit more red, and I wanted it to be more of a burst than what it is. But I really like it. So it is a Bob Ross happy little accident. It's still a bit damp, so I've still got my gloves on. It's very dark, and when we pair it with a black pickup, which will be going in it, it only... Get the wire out of the way. Of course I've snagged the wire. Stand by. There we are. With a black pickup in it, I know it's not the right way around, but you can kind of get an idea of what the final aesthetic is going to look like. It suits my taste in music, let's just say that. It's very me. I think I'm happy with it. I wish it was a bit, the maple top was a bit more pronounced, a bit more 3D looking. But when the couple of coats of red have been on, where it's been wet and it looks glossy, it does. And I think when we get some finish coat on it, that will happen. But the more it's drying, the more copperiness is kind of coming out in a weird way. The headstock has got some great figuring on it. Look at it. I think it's really, really nice. I don't know whether it's too light in comparison with the body or not. I'm still undecided. I did try and put a bit of black in with the red. I said earlier that you could mix the two. It didn't really do much, and I was hesitant to put too much black in, just in case I lost the really nice figuring on there. I've just put colour on it and I'm smacking it around. The back has turned out to be, the mahogany on the back in this red, it reminds me of a quite a traditional kind of like Les Paul back finish. That's not what I was going for, but it looks nice, I think. It looks nice. And the neck is dark enough for me. There's a few more coats on the neck than there is on the body, and I think it has, it's come out darker, and I quite like how it is, and I quite like the figuring that we've got on the scarf joint at the bottom there by the headstock too. So, is it what I wanted? No. Am I still happy with it? I think so. The time will tell. When the finish goes on and it's looking glossy and polished, will it be what I wanted? That will be, well, it's never going to be what I wanted initially, but the more I look at it, the more I like it. It's quite unusual. There's probably a reason why it's quite unusual. I don't think I've seen a guitar in a finish like this, and that is probably for a reason, but it's quite nice. Mud burst, maybe we'll call it, because it's becoming more and more brown. But still. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, there's a subscribe button down there. Push that, please. That'd be really, really helpful. Or even indeed the like button. That'd be really good. Do you like it? Do you think I should have put less black in initially? Do you think I should have sanded more to make it lighter? Let me know. Those of you that have done this before and got more experience than I have, write something down there in the comments and let me know what you think. Anyway, next time we'll put some gloss on it and some hardware on it, and then we'll truly see whether the neck install was done correctly. See you next time.